So if you would, on page 8 of your booklets, it talks about church. And the church is one of the 4 areas that we're focused on in Ask and Imagine. At the end of the day, first and foremost, we are a church. We don't get to do all the fun, fancy stuff well if we don't do church well. Now, joining me is Katie Gates, and most of you recognize her. She's an awesome singer, part of our worship team. But what you might not know is Katie has recently joined the Lake Point staff as our operations director. Give it up for Katie.
Woo!
So in that position, she understands the inner workings of this church, and I thought maybe she could explain a little bit of that to us. Katie?
Yes, so this past year with Ask and Imagine, we've had a lot of projects going on. We have some really administrative-minded pastors, but they brought me on to kind of help run some of the administrative stuff so that they could focus on pastoring and leading the church, and I could kind of focus on the operations, the more of the administrative stuff that goes on in the background. All of those events, including the community-organized events, rely on our infrastructure to be able to run the money kind of as a middleman for those charitable giving for the community, where they may have struggled to build that infrastructure themselves. They rely on us as a trusted partner, but that does take a lot of administration and coordination on the back end to make sure that that all is up and running.
Fantastic. And Katie, kind of connect the dots for us. How does all this lead to discipleship? Are we just paying the bills, painting the walls? How does this all come back to discipleship?
Sure. While paying the bills and painting the walls is definitely important to keep us up and running. It is not just that. Everything we do ties back to discipleship. On page 8, there's some stats listed under the church project for Ask and Imagine, and we talk about that attendance has grown 25%. We started the one-on-one discipleship with just match up members of the church to do that discipleship process. All of that, again, takes coordination in the background. It takes systems. It takes personalized follow-up. But we do need that infrastructure in order to facilitate those personalized follow-ups and keep those services running.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Katie. All right, so commitment cards. Today is Commitment Sunday. You do have commitment cards that we'll be turning in today. Brian's going to give a little more detail about that, but he asked that I give kind of a discussion of the journey that Desiree and I have been on. So obviously we've been praying about the commitment cards and having a lot of discussions at the dinner table. Let me take a quick step back. So Desiree and I are going through a bit of a transition this year. I recently retired, which means the amount of money going out is far less than the money coming in. But recently I did start a little part-time job. She has a part-time job. And we thought about it and we said we can do a little more. So we have chosen to increase our commitment a little bit. We love this church. We love our church family. I said, we'll find a way.
Awesome. And similarly, Justin and I, when we sat down last year, we prayed separately. I don't know if you and Desiree did this. We prayed separately, and then we to test it, we came together and we're like, is it the same number, right? And of course it's the same number. And so we landed on this number. And this year, again, I said, let's pray separately. Let's come back together. Let's talk about it. What do we want to do with our commitment card? And we both just felt like this overwhelming peace to stay the same. And so it's just really cool that there's both, that we get to celebrate some people who will be able to increase, and then some people who will be able to stay the same. And so thanks, Vince.